For even more Summer of Gaming goodness, download the TikTok app, follow IGN, and search IGN Summer of Gaming hashtag to find a slew of bonus gameplay clips and upload your very own epic gaming moments.
I certainly do love the epic gamer moments. We just took a look at Star Renegades and Iron Oath, and now it's time for a chat about Foreclosed. And although it might sound like a depressing game about real estate and mortgages and your landlord, it's actually a colorful cyberpunk adventure. Here's your first look at some gameplay.
Foreclosed is a gorgeous new cyberpunk game with a beautiful graphic novel aesthetic. Here to tell me about it are Andrea and Lara from Antab Studios. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Hi, everyone.
So Foreclosed is set in obviously a beautiful cyberpunk dystopian future. Can you tell me a little bit about what this universe is like, who the main character is, and what is being foreclosed exactly?
Okay, yeah. So the main character is Evan Kapnos. You can see him into the gameplay video. And he's the everyday man in this dystopic future. And to tell about this story, we have to explain a bit about the context. So in this future, everyone has brain implants, and brain implants are used to be connected with cities, so to have any kind of interaction. The key concept is that the identity of a person is basically just a bunch of data, and it represents a node into a gigantic blockchain. And it's embedded into your brain implants. So it's something that is given to you by the state as soon as you are born as a way to interact with the universe. The absurd story of our character takes place because when you are old enough in this universe, companies can buy what we call the identity debt of the citizens. It means that since the implants you get from the state, they have a cost. That cost represents your debt to have an identity in this environment and to interact, to have any kind of transaction with the city, to buy stuff and so on. So companies buy this debt from the state, and you actually work for the companies basically to pay your debt. And the absurd thing that happens to Evan is that in a mysterious way, the company you work for goes bankrupt, and you have to understand why. But the main thing is that your identity gets foreclosed just like any other goods of the bankrupted company. And
yeah. And like at the very beginning, you just reach the court and do some paperwork just to try to find an escape from this bureaucratic mess, we may say. But what actually happened is that while you're trying to reach the court, some mysterious agents start to chase you and try to kill you. So now you have to find a way to escape from the city before the auctioning, but also not to get killed.
Yeah. Then there's a quick escalation of things that happens to the main character. As soon as you think the story is about fixing the paperwork, basically, what happens is that you are involved in something bigger than you, and the key story is that you have to understand what's going on. You have to try to survive and to get out of the bureaucratic mess. Yeah.
So it sounds like some good dystopian noir, appropriately
game.
Cyberpunk. Can you give us a sense of how the world is structured? We've seen some sort of, looks like some good exploration and going to different areas, but sort of how are players engaged with this world?
Okay, so we wanted to give the idea of that you will be playing a comic book, and we worked really hard to give this feeling. So the game is not an open world game, and it's mainly story driven, but we blend everything seamlessly together. So you will not have a feeling of different levels, or level 1 or level 2 and so on. The storyline builds up as you move into this world, and you will not see loading times or something like that. So it's just a fluid, continuous experience. This is just to make the feeling that you are playing, it's a fully playable cyberpunk comic book. So this is the key thing, yeah.
Let's talk about the combat a little bit. It looks like we're using some implants to throw dumpsters at people. Explain that, please.
No.
Yeah, so as you're seeing, like, implants are extremely important in Foreclosed. They are like your curse and your blessing. And that's because you have an experimental firmware installed inside your implants, and this firmware is going to give you like incredible combat skills and powers. You may see inside the video you have like telekinetic kind of abilities, so you can lift object, throw the object through the enemy. You can lift your enemy and like freeze them in the air. You can slam them down. You can do this kind of stuff. You also have a very special weapon, which is built to connect and work with your implants. And this is a symbiotic gun, we may call it. Yeah. So you can actually equip different kinds of bullets, and this allows you to turn your weapon in what you want. So let's say you can transform a simple gun into a machine gun, or into an explosive kind of weapon. And you can also combine different kind of bullets together. One thing that you have to take care about is that because your powers and your implants are experimental, the system is a bit unstable. So when you use your powers, you're gonna overheat your implant, and you have to take extremely care of the heating level of the device, because if you overheat the implant, you're going to stun. It's a very painful kind of overheat, and you have to wait until the system cools down completely before being able to use your powers again.
Yeah, so it's a continuous balancing of using the and mixing the power, and be careful because of the overheat system. And the powers are unlockable in a RPG style. So since it's depending from your firmware, it's going to upgrade itself as you progress through the story and you fight with enemies. In that way, you will basically have some upgrade cycles you can spend to decide what power is most suitable for you. And so you will see also in the gameplay video that you can throw stuff in the air. You can use telekinesis to attract objects and use them as shields, basically, to protect yourself. Or you can lift enemies, throw them on the floor, keep energetic shields on yourself. And mixing everything together with the gun powers, you basically make your own strategy for fighting.
Oh yeah, and like you're also seeing that in the video. You can also hack devices and systems all around, and depending on the device you're hacking, you will perform different acts, we may say. So for example, opening a door or making a cabinet explode, and you can even act brain implants of an unaware enemy.
Yeah, so we can use some stealth elements in some fight. It's not something that is always there, because we have stealth when it makes sense for the storyline, but it's also an ability you have as a player.
Yeah.
Well, you've both been clearly hard at work along with the rest of the team. What platforms are you looking at, and what kind of release date are we expecting?
For release date, we can just say it's going to be Q2 next year, so 2021.
Yeah.
And platform, we aim to we are working on PC, on Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, so all the main platforms.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing off Foreclosed. It looks great.
Foreclosed has closed for now. We're closed. Don't forget, all summer of gaming long, IGN is asking you, Brian, to donate to worthy causes by following the links in the description of this video or by heading to donate.ign.com. You can give to the COVID-19 Response Fund dedicated to studying, tracking, and combating COVID-19, or to the Bail Project, working to reunite families separated by the mass incarceration system.
And for even more Summer of Gaming goodness, download the TikTok app, follow IGN, and search for IGN Summer of Gaming hashtag for bonus gameplay clips and to upload your own awesome gaming moments. Next up, Blanco's Block Party looks like a cross between Little Big Planet and collecting Funko Pops, but first, a quick break. We'll be right back with more IGN Expo number 2.
IGN Summer of Gaming is brought to you by Fuser, who will be partying with us all summer long.
Party, party! Party, party! Party, party!
Ah!
Yeah!
Sure.
The next generation of video gaming is on the horizon, and IGN is here to bring you the latest PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X news and analysis in our new weekly show, Next Gen Console Watch 2020. We'll bring on the experts to discuss and analyze all the latest developments around these new consoles. From frame rates, services, features, peripherals, and even all the new tech jargon, Next Gen Console Watch 2020 will keep you up to speed on everything leading up to the next generation of gaming. Join us every Friday for a new episode. Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
News, games, and more is IGN's live news show every day of the week that covers all the day's news about games, movies, comics, and of course more. This is our daily live show that takes a rotating cast of IGN talent, going over all the latest news of the day while taking live questions and comments from chat. We're live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us on mixer.com/IGN, youtube.com/IGN, and twitch.tv/IGN. See you there.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
You are a good giraffe, and that's why I love you. Yeah. Oh, hey, Sydney. Welcome back. Question, do you think children's toys come to life when no one's looking at night and you need friends?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they made like 4 movies about it, so it has to be true, right?
What about high-end designer vinyl toys for artsy collectors such as myself and my friend, the giraffe?
You know, they probably come to life too, since there's going to be a video game about it, and video games are pretty realistic.
They certainly are, and so is my giraffe. I can't fault that logic anyway. The game's called Blanco's Block Party, and if I'm not mistaken, we've killed enough time with this fake back and forth for me to queue up an exclusive interview with one of the developers, so let's check it out.
Sweet, let's see it.
Let's see it.
Blanco's Block Party is a game about a bunch of little vinyl figurines that come to life and get into all sorts of trouble. Here to tell me about it is Jamie Jackson, the Chief Creative Officer for Mythical Games. Jamie, how's it going?
Hey man, what's up, Max?
Who are these Blancos, and who allowed them to have this block party? Tell me about this game. Tell me what's going on here.
Oh man, so Blancos, like you said, their vinyl toys come to life. We allowed them to have the party, I guess. There's a whole kind of this is where the kind of idea of is where Blancos go or where vinyl toys go when humans aren't in the room. So the place that they've created is their block parties. And then there's a kind of big place we call the Junction, where they can go and hang out and train up and hang out with their friends. But the stuff that you're seeing now, this is actually all in the UGC side of it. So you can kind of build and create your own worlds too.
So that's a huge part of the whole like vinyl doll collectible scene. People customizing sort of existing figurines and stuff. Can you talk a bit about how in depth the user created content side of this is?
Yeah, sure. So from a Blanco side, we're actually working with a bunch of really cool vinyl artists to come and have their artwork in-game on Blancos, much like in the real world. But from the UGC side, this level, everything we're looking at now is all levels that we've been built in our editor. And the point of the editor really was to build it with a controller. We wanted to make it really easy for players to build worlds, whether it's just a hangout, somewhere they can go and hang out with their friends and do whatever they want, or they can actually drop gameplay in really easily. And it's not about having to code or open any boxes to type in code. It's everything can be done with a game controller. You just have to drop a toy in, really easy parameters to set. Season 1, we're going to be dropping things like this: shooting and racing, vibe collecting, kind of platform style gameplay. The key part is it's really easy to build levels.
Cool. So you're talking about controllers. What platforms are you guys looking at?
So we're going to be launching on PC later this year, and we're going to be announcing our console strategy in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Very cool. Now this is going to be a free-to-play game, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be free to play, so there's going to be a ton of content for players to come in, play, build,
dreams.
even kind of train up a Blanco to a point. But then, if you want all the cool Blancos and that kind of stuff, that's where you're going to be using the in-game currency to buy those.
Game develoption.
Now, I can tell by the shelf behind you, you are a fan of urban vinyl and designer toys. Can you talk a little bit about some of the artists you've got involved so far?
So we're not getting into the artists yet, but if you know anything about this world and any of those artists that are in there, we've definitely got an amazing lineup coming.
I mean, they're trying to cash in
we live
on
in a world of seasonal content now, so we're going to just keep getting better and better.
Nice. Now, so in terms of sort of how
on the Roblox
you said
shit,
that you're gonna have racing and shooting, and obviously plenty of platforming.
So much money
what are you using to determine sort of what direction you want to go with things in terms of sort of you see?
Sorry, I missed that last bit.
Oh, sorry. Like what? Are you going to be sort of following the community's lead in terms of this, or do you guys have like a pretty strict plan in terms of what you want to roll out first and what kind of content you want to let people play around with?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good idea of what we want to launch, but the main thing for us is to listen to the community as well. So we want to really kind of build for them, because the idea of Blancos is you kind of build what you want to play. That's the kind of approach we're taking with the UGC side. So although we have a ton of plans about what we want to bring, as we get through seasons, we start to see what players do and how they do it differently. We definitely want to listen to them. I think, the big thing for me, having made games for as long as I have, is players always play the games we've made in a totally different way than we expected them to. And we want to take that on board and just try and provide a bunch of really easy tools for them to do exactly that. And then watch what they do and listen to what they want and then drop that in them in future seasons.
Cool. Now, Mythical is a fairly new studio, is that right? But you've got a bunch of people who have like really a lot of experience and some pedigree. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, so we're almost coming up to 2 years old. But it was founded by myself, John Linden and Rudy Koch. John and I were both studio heads at Activision, so my background was DJ Hero and Guitar Hero. John and Rudy both worked a lot on Call of Duty, Skylanders franchises. So, even from just the three of us in the beginning, we kind of had a great pedigree, and we've just added to that, bringing in people from the mobile world as well. So having that great free-to-play expertise, World of Warcraft. So the games everyone's worked on have been pretty incredible.
What kind of lessons did you learn from sort of working in the AAA space that you're bringing to the table here and really sort of turning players loose with?
I mean, that's a great question. I think some of the biggest ones was don't assume you know everything the player's going to do at the beginning. Allow a little bit of room for them to make the game their own. I think you see that in a lot of products these days. As players find new ways to play, the developer's able to kind of switch around and kind of really enhance some of those options for them. So I think that's probably one of the big things. We've really kind of spent a lot of the first part of this project prototyping and playing with it and thinking about how do we want to play with these games? How would we want to build it, and not being a programmer or code or anything like that. So making sure it's really, really easy to get into, I think, has been the biggest one for me.
We're seeing a lot of level design here.
To do with the controller.
Will the Blancos themselves be customizable? Will people be able to sort of do their own character creation?
There is going to be some things you can do to Blancos. As you play through the game and you play both like in the single player and also in the multiplayer and the kind of UGC modes, you're going to unlock different attachments. So you're going to be able to put different backpacks and jetpacks and various attachments on a Blanco. Some of them will just be cosmetic and just look really cool, but some of them are going to enhance the abilities that a Blanco has. And you can train your Blanco's abilities as you go through a game. So when you get a Blanco at the beginning, it will kind of start at 0, and you can train it to be good at different things. So you can make it really cool at the shooting, you could make it really fast and responsive for the platforming or racing. And we're going to announce some stuff a little bit closer to launch about some of the other things you can do to customize them.
Cool. Now, obviously, free-to-play does make some gamers raise their eyebrows, but we've seen a lot of really sort of successful models lately that manage to, balance making a profit with also offering a good user experience. Can you talk a little bit about how you're approaching monetization here?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think there's some great examples out there now, and we're in a different world than we were 5 or 10 years ago. Our key thing is that anyone coming in just has a really good time straight at the beginning and feels value even in that free-to-play piece. We're going to talk a little bit later on about our structure, but, you're going to be able to buy Blancos. I think there's some great games out there that are, we all think in seasons now rather than Blancos 1, 2, and 3. So definitely expect us to kind of take that same approach and be dropping some great content in a seasonal approach.
Yeah.
Don't smash it. Okay?
Now, you mentioned some of the team has a background in Skylanders. The sort of Toys to Life craze hasn't really had the best history recently. Are there any plans to make physical Blancos, or is this strictly going to be a sort of virtual collectible?
Well, Mythical's kind of thesis really is, owning digital content.
I don't even know what these things are. So are these popular?
The thing about Blancos is with each Blanco, you actually own these things, right? So they're yours to do with what you want. And that's about the digital ownership. Who knows whether we bring them into real world later on? I mean, they're designed around real toys, so it would be very easiest to do that. But right now, Blancos is all about digital ownership and you building the games that you want to play.
Awesome. And when are you expecting to sort of launch
Q3,
or have more information about that?
We're aiming to launch at end of the year, so towards the holiday period. And like I say, we're launching on PC. We're actually going to be having our kind of beta phase sometime towards the end of the year as well. And then we're going to be letting you know about our platform strategy pretty soon.
Thanks so much for coming by. I look forward to checking out more about Blanco's Block Party in the near future.
Do you, though? Forsen Donut says, Forsen, since we have time until Sony and this is a shit show, maybe we could watch the search for DB Cooper instead. Ooh, tempting, but then I'm gonna miss all these great games. It's only 28 minutes until it starts.
Our next exciting under-the-radar pick for check out this game is called Bravery Network Online. It's a competitive RPG with a combat system that's a bit like Pokemon, but if all of the monsters were swapped out with some highly fashionable combatants. Check out some exclusive new gameplay.
Highly fashioned. What the fuck is this? And why the fuck did he die after that?
Like what you see? Then head on over to IGN.com or YouTube.com/IGN to watch the full extended version of this gameplay.
Don't like what I see. Not even in the slightest. This has to be the worst one so far.
I'm Sydney Goodman, and fans of Spellbreak are probably super stoked about what came at the end of that trailer. And here to talk more with us about Spellbreak is Seth Seebach.
Really,
Hi, Seth.
really grateful to my friends at in showing us what we will be able to pick up at the bargain bin at Walmart in 2021. Looking forward to playing this crap in the White House with my wife.
Yeah, it's super exciting. We're really we've been working on this for a while, and we have been hoping to deliver this. A lot of people in the community have been asking, when are we going to bring it to the Switch and to the Xbox One? I mean, I personally can't wait to play it on my Switch. I love sitting on the couch and using it, so I'm definitely really excited to be able to bring it to those audiences. So we're looking forward to it.
Auto aim, Pog.
Later this year.
Great, and so it's already on PS4 and PC. Are there plans for crossplay?
Yeah, so we currently, the beta itself that is on PS4 and PC right now has cross matchmaking, and we definitely are looking for to continue to allow for crossplay when we get to full release, and we're excited about really letting players that are anywhere play with their friends. It's one of the things that we have kind of built the idea behind Spellbreak around, is the ability for people to be able to play with their friends whenever they want, and so we're excited to be able to do crossplay at launch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a lot of friends that play on a lot of different platforms, so anytime a game supports crossplay,
it was quite different from when I played
all for it. So, with that said, I feel like a lot of different games handle crossplay different ways. I'm not sure how far you guys are in kind of knowing how you're going to do crossplay, but is it something that maybe you can opt out of and only matchmake against other PS4 players or other controller players? Like, how will crossplay actually function?
Yeah, so definitely you will be able to opt out if you don't want to, and be able to play with just whoever else is on your designated platform. So if you're on the PS4, you can decide you only want to play with PS4 players. So that will be available. And
I don't get the
like
joke.
I said, we have cross matchmaking now. The next step is basically allowing for cross teams, so you can team up with your friends on whatever platform they're on and jump into squads or some of our other game modes as a group.
Mm-hmm. And for everybody who this is your first time seeing Spellbreak, do not worry. We are going to get to talking about the nitty gritty, but I just find crossplay is so exciting. So a few more questions about that. Let's say that I have Spellbreak on PC, but now I'm also going to have it on my Switch. Are you able to have a profile on both, like have your achievements and whatever carry over?
Yeah, so that's like getting to true cross progression, which is sort of one account everywhere, and that's something we're definitely looking into, and I think we would love to have be available. That's kind of the dream, right? Is that as a player, you can have your one account play on any platform of your choosing, as long as
the
possible.
dream
So
is that
that's
your
definitely
game becomes popular.
Awesome. Cross progression. The word was on the tip of my tongue, and I basically was just giving the definition, but that's okay. Okay, so let's just jump into Spellbreak. For people who don't know what it is, can you just give us like a quick synopsis?
Yeah, so it's an action spellcasting PvP game. The primary game mode that we're launching with is Battle Royale. So you'll be able to team up with up to three players, and it's a 42-person lobbies, and so the biggest difference you'll see here in all the gameplay is, I think, the core combat, which is of course spellcasting, because you play as a battle mage, as well as a lot of the like movement abilities. I think the key things that really define Spellbreak are the combat and the kind of sort of like verticality and movement you see in the match. So players are able to do everything from blink to levitate, and you actually equip 2 magical gauntlets, and that's what you use for all of your attacks. So it's sort of a blend of what would be like an ability shooter and a more, I think, like MMO style combat, where you know things are on cooldown and you want to be tactical.
MMO, no.
So that's kind of what defines Spellbreak.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because obviously there's a lot of battle royale games on the market, but I think Spellbreak does a really good job kind of carving its niche, because I definitely haven't played any battle royales like it. But with that said, what similarities maybe for folks who are huge Battle Royale fans can they expect in Spellbreak?
So I mean, like, yeah, the core of the mode itself is very similar. You know, you want to be the last either squad or individual standing, and you have a set of safe zones that get smaller over time that pull everyone together. You drop in with no loot, and you need to loot as you go. And so those are all the core tenets you'd expect from a Battle Royale mode exist in Spellbreak. We do try to find ways to make it really fit for the style of game that Spellbreak is, though, because like one of the big differences is while we do have something like the
have you seen Joker yet?
Zones, like the
no, I haven't.
Outside,
waiting for the
Netflix
Areas
that are iconic in Battle Royale.
Or
we also
HBO,
make it so
or whatever the fuck they release on nowadays.
Circles, you actually level up your class. So you pick a class.
Hopefully not this day. That's the one I don't have.
Each circle you hit, you get stronger and more powerful. And so it's a little bit more like a MOBA in that way than it is, I think, like a standard sort of Battle Royale mode.
It's not a MOBA, dude.
Yeah, no, I love that mechanic. I think it's such an interesting thing to add to the Battle Royale genre. With that said, so I'm going to squeeze in like one really quick question because we're almost out of time, but I know that we have a really special announcement at the end of this and I don't want to cut into that too much. But I think that the community around Spellbreak
I'm
is
guessing free to
so
play
robust,
for,
and
this weekend.
I know you guys rolled out a new patch about a month ago and the reaction was super positive, but how do you balance community feedback with kind of you and your team's original vision? Because there seems to be a really good line of communication there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that we focused on as a studio. We've had players in playing Spellbreak in some form since the summer of 2018. And the way we kind of look at it is there's three components that we care about. It's really getting the player feedback, where we want to go, and the actual direction that that we see from the stats in the game. And we balance all of those together to make our design decisions. And that's why player feedback has been so critical, and the community has been really helpful for us to make the game what it is today.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to hear that. I always appreciate like positive relationships between a game and their community. Obviously, I'm not advocating for negative relationships there. Anyways, so you and your team have a really special announcement for everybody who wants to play Spellbreak and all the Spellbreak fans that are watching this stream right now. So why don't you tell them what we got? Yeah, so we have an exclusive outfit available for those of you that are watching. There's a limited number of them available, but being a new game and a relatively small team, we look to our community to really help us out. And so we thought this would be kind of a cool little reward for folks that are helping us in the early phases as we're still getting Spellbreak close to launch. So the outfit is called Treeline, and so it'll be available for folks that are watching now to go pick up. So we're really excited to be able to offer that to the community. Yeah, and thank you so much for bringing that to our viewers. So before we go, I know you said an official release date, maybe you had like a time frame? Later on this year, sometime in 2020. Thank you so much, Seth. We look forward to hearing more about Spellbreak in the future.
It was fun for a stream, but
Go to spellbreak.com/IGN to get your free exclusive in-game skin right now. Well, we're almost out of trailers for now, but we still got 2 more IGN Expos coming during the summer of gaming, and each will be filled to the brim with premieres and trailers, like some kind of overflowing fruits, twisty straws, crazy silly limes, and lemons, and squiggles, and sandwiches, and great stuff.
Delicious. Not only that, but more charity streams, Sony's Future of Gaming event immediately following this, and our Animal Crossing New Horizons Celebrity Island tours on June 16th. For a complete schedule of Summer of Gaming events, and believe me, there is a whole lot more, so make sure to check out IGN.com.
But we aren't done yet. You know, it's hard to think of anything more grossly irresponsible than letting an infant operate a motor vehicle, and yet, here's a game that does exactly that. I hope someone got fired for this one. Let's check it out.
Rated E for everyone.
Yeah, except FPS, dude.
Welcome
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the slime event of the year. Select your crew and start your engine.
What? Does that fucking hate Arnold, Rocky? There's some boomer shit, dude.
Battle your way through all new slime-filled tracks. Watch out, Leo! With even more of your favorite characters than ever before. Hey there, JoJo. Now race with friends. Compete online. Now that's what I call racing. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix.
Wait, Kart Racers 2 is the first one of this shit. Oh!
IGN Summer of Gaming is brought to you by Fuser, who'll be partying with us all summer long.
All summer long, motherfuckers. Carlson, Yakitori87 Anonymous with a gifted sub. Lagervik, hey to Geplo.